It took me a long time to find my voice. There's no question about it. But having found it, I'm not going to shut up. First of all, my parents were the most remarkable people. While we were in London during the war, clearly they had no control over where the bombs fell, but they did have control over their behavior. And all along, as they dealt with one change after another, they really did make the abnormal seem normal. And so that's what I learned from them, is how to control my behavior, which is the only thing that I do have any control over. We ended up in Denver, and my father was a professor. He also obviously had a huge influence in what I learned about what, in terms of always talking about diplomatic history, and would explain the things that I had seen as a child in London and then in Yugoslavia. I didn't have any problems with foreign governments. I mean, I did arrive in a large plane that said United States of America, and they knew that if they were going to do foreign policy, they at least had to talk to me. I had more problems with the men in our own government. And not because I think they were male chauvinist pigs or anything like that. I think that they had just known me too long. I had been in Washington a long time. I knew their wives well. I was a carpool mother. I had then been a staffer on the Hill. I made a lot of coffee. And I think some of them thought, how did she get to be Secretary of State when I should be Secretary of State? I did get a sense that I was being held to a different standard. And when I argued for something, a couple of them actually would say, don't be so emotional. I don't think, frankly, that I was rougher, tougher, or anything than any man. I just think that people were surprised to hear some of that language from a woman.
No one could be prouder than I to represent the United States in the United Nations. It is an honor beyond my own expectations, and I love every day of it.
I think it's important to stand up for what you believe in, not to kind of beat people over the head with what you know, but to figure out ways that you can pursue what you think, and in my case, is a moral perspective in terms of how we should behave internationally and nationally and to each other. What has to take place in the next 100 years is to understand that we can't use identity to fight with each other. So I hope in the next 100 years we can celebrate identity, but not use it as a tool to create more issues with each other.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other videos from USA Today to stay up to date with all the latest news.